Good morning and welcome to the judges, teachers, guests, and participants of Frsis 2023. Now, I would like to introduce our judges today. The Chief Judge is YM Engku Muhammad Hairul Nizam Tuan Ahmad, Entrepreneur Development Manager, Yayasan Pembangunan Usahawan Terengganu. The second judge is Ms. Nur Zafarini binti Norizan from Sekolah Menengah Bahasa Amal Penuh Integrasi Kubang Pasu. And the third judge is Mrs. Cassandra Charles Gimpa from Sekolah Menengah Sains Labuan. And I, Muhammad Ali Haikan Adunan from Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Mahmud, while the timekeepers Adam Al-Hafiz bin Azizul and Muhammad Ishad Isan bin Azmi are also from Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Mahmud Terengganu. Now, allow me to read the rules. Each team should consist of presenters and a technical assistant. The presentation must focus on the subject assigned to the team. The duration of the presentation should not be more than 10 minutes. The bell will ring once at the 9th minute and twice at the 10th minute. A question and answer session will be conducted after each presentation. Now, I would like to invite Sekolah Menengah Sains LAHAD DATU to present.
We are inferior. We have no rights. It's what was said by a established person in Thailand. Assalamualaikum and a very pleasant morning. I humbly bid to the honorable panel of experts, fellow audience, and of course, my beloved teammates. Today, the Central team will proudly present to you ensuring equal access, bridging the healthcare gap for stateless individuals. Without further ado, let me proceed with the methodology that we applied in our research. We use meta-analysis and have conducted a survey throughout the research in completing this study. Now, what are stateless people? According to the UNHCR in 2014, a person who is not considered as a national by any state under the operation of its law. We have asked in the survey if any respondents have encountered any stateless people before, and 89.3% said yes. But what exactly the basic right that they are denied? Based on this article from UNHCR Malaysia, in West Malaysia only, there are 10,000 people who are denied basic rights, which are education, jobs, and healthcare. Our main focus for today is discrimination in healthcare. One of which is no recognition. Based on this picture, it is clearly said that there's a huge difference between the charge for citizens and foreigners. But there's no pricing for the stateless because they are not intended to get any treatment by the government. Secondly, negative social stigma. We have asked the respondents if they agree if the stateless are part of our society. Based on this pie chart, there's 40% said they are divided. Thus, this means they are not sure if the stateless are part of our society or not. Because referring back to the definition of stateless is a person who is not considered as a national by any state. In our research, we have two research questions that we are investigating. How does providing medical treatment affect their overall well-being and its impacts towards the different aspects of society, as well as how can international organizations and governments work together to address the healthcare needs for stateless individuals. Let's proceed with the first research question. Starting off with the potential benefits for the stateless if the government gives attention to them. First of all, it will increase their life expectancy. Based on Public Medical Center in 2010, many stateless people have shorter than average lifespan as a result of lack of legal status. By providing them the access of essential medication, it will elongate their lifespan. Secondly, it will enhance their mental well-being as mental health needs the same amount of attention as physical health by providing mental health services such as therapy sessions. Lastly, it empowerment, and restoring their dignity. When we help restore their sense of self-worth by showing how much we care and really validate their status as equal members of society. But that's for status people. How about us? Here are the positive impacts that will affect the whole of society. Let's proceed with the first one. First of all, it is economic benefits. By providing medical treatment to the stateless, it will improve their productivity, as a healthy individuals can contribute positively to the workforce and economy by paying taxes. Secondly, it will fostering social cohesion. By sending inclusivity and solidarity by society, it helps bridge the gap between the different groups within society, and this will lead to more harmonious group within society, diverse population. Lastly, promote social justice. If we ensure that they have access to essential health services, they will promote fairness and equality to the society. As an American philosopher, John Rawls once said, aligns with the principles of social justice and helps address the inequality faced by marginalized and vulnerable populations. But of course, there are two sides of the same coin. Let's proceed with the negative impacts. First of all, financial burden. Many stateless are jobless. They can cover their treatment costs and also can contribute financially through taxes. So to cover up the medical treatment for the stateless, the citizens have to pay more and the taxes will be higher. Secondly, it will be a strain on healthcare infrastructure. Let me give you a point of view. A hospital that already full with patients come from citizens, what if you add more patients from settlers? There will be a longer waiting times and overcrowded hospitals. This will reduce the quality of care because it will be a more pressure towards the workers. Lastly, public response. Some members of society may view it unfair by giving their rights as equal to the settlers because they have no rights. They are invisible in our community eyes. Because of this, the country won't be harmonious because of the lead to the social tension. Now, I pass the spotlight to my second presenter, Nik Farid Muin, as he will tell in depth about our second research question.
Thank you, Sharifah. Now, let us move on to the findings of our second aim. Currently, there's a program ongoing that targets to end statelessness. It is a collaboration between United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, with all governments around the world on a program called I Belong. Have any of you heard I Belong before? I Belong is a program that targets to end statelessness by 2024, aligns with the United Nations objective, no leave no one behind. The concept of I Belong is to provide guiding framework to governments all around the world on how to reduce inequalities that are happening to the stateless in their country. Here are some of the main guidelines that has been provided by the UNHCR. One of the main examples that we can see how this program has been implemented is the collaboration between UNHCR, UNICEF, and the Royal Thai government on a program called We Belong. We Belong is a program that targets to end child statelessness in Thailand and to enhance access to its protection, education, and social services. This program has been ongoing for 9 years, but we see little to no significant impact towards stateless around the world, aside from Thailand. Why is that? This is simply because this program doesn't contribute significantly towards countries, and the reason why Thailand are doing it is because they want to improve their reputation among other countries. This leads us to a question. Is there really any other way that a government can provide equal treatment towards the stateless while also gaining equal benefit from it? Now let me bring you to our recommendation that will perhaps give you a rough idea on how can the stateless enjoy equal treatment while also providing something towards the country, ensuring a win-win situation for both parties. let me introduce you with the merit point system. It is a system where the stateless will collect and accumulate points so that it can be converted to gain certain privileges. These privileges range from money to get certain groceries and necessities, and also to get one free basic medical treatment. The way the stateless can gain the points are by doing jobs, chores, or services that are acknowledged by the government. For example, to gain 1 point, it is required for the stateless to collect 1 kilogram of trash. And to start with this program, the government will issue cards towards the stateless that are aged 12 and above, so that it can keep the points for them. And by doing this system, it ensures that the stateless can collect the points for them and gain the services that they needed with their own effort. Now, that leads us to our conclusion. First of all, the statelessness problem must be addressed promptly and effectively, so that not only it will improve the condition of the stateless, but also to gain certain benefits for our country. And in order to achieve that, all aspects of society must take part in order to address this problem, so that we can achieve universal equality. And last but not least, we as a human must also realize that stateless are also human like us and must be treated equally like how we want to be treated. So it is up to our responsibility to change our stigma towards them and see them in a new light, so that we can ensure global peace and prosperity. And with that, we have come to the end of our presentation. Thank you for lending your ears.
And now, I would like to invite any participants to ask any questions. When we talk about stateless individuals, so basically in Malaysia now, I think we are all aware that one of the biggest stateless individuals, or something that almost everybody is talking about in the net, social media, and everything, is about Rohingya, right? So what do you think about it? Because all your presentation, you are talking about our part, to be that they are deserve to be treated equally. We need to take care of them, hospitals and everything. So what about their parts? I think it's a two-way things, and it won't happen if just one side are taking. Yeah. So what are your views on this? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Now, this is why we introduced the point merit system. It is so that the stateless can have a way and access that they can contribute to our country. So it will be equal for us to give them the treatment that they needed.
Okay, my question is, during your research, have you discovered any efforts made by the Malaysian government? Because you have mentioned about Thai royal something, right? So, what have we as Malaysians or the government itself has done to help these people? Okay, yeah. What have you discovered? Have you discovered anything, or have we not done anything for this? Yeah, because we have a number of stateless people in our country, right? So, have you discovered anything?
Thank you. So basically, from our research, we have actually discovered there's an NGO in Malaysia that are helping the stateless, which is DHRRA. But we can also see that the governments make almost no effort on addressing this problem. So that's why we are taking example from another country. Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains LAHAD DATU, for the amazing presentation just now. And now, I would like to invite Sekolah Menengah Sains Johor to present.
Let me just start by saying that what we're going to discuss in the next 10 minutes will be extremely sensitive and that we must keep an open mind to this discussion. We must risk a little amount of provocation in order to really understand what is going on. Since we have received our theme for this year's research for Frsis, we have been working our brain and wonder what exactly is our focus. We understand that in a diverse world, equality and diversity will thrive hand in hand and will never pose any conflict, like a utopia where everyone lives happily ever after. Well, Salsabila here has been scribbling on her notebook during the keynote address a few days ago. It's been stated in the keynote presentation that gender inequality is not that prevalent and widespread in Malaysia. This is because both genders' perspectives are valued and taken into account, which is why our presentation for today focuses on the racial inequality issues in Malaysia. But our world is far from the ideal utopia we have envisioned or dreamed to someday achieve. Hence, why our research for today centers around one article of the Constitution that is always blamed to have caused friction in Malaysia. And this is the story of how the four of us transformed from being oblivious towards the problem in this country into a group of advocates who strive to uphold the Constitution and at the same time promoting the utopia I am sure all of us have been dreaming of. Our objective while doing the project is simple. Firstly, to defend and uphold an article of the Constitution, specifically Article 153.
And also to be able to create and shape future leaders with a varied mindset. Ultimately, nurturing inclusivity in the diverse world we live in today. But before we get into all of that, Assalamualaikum and good morning to the honorable judges, wise timekeeper, diligent moderator, lovely rapporteur, and all that is present here. My name is Muhammad Azmi Denish bin Muhammad Azwan.
And I am Nurul Hanani binti Nur Azmi, together with my team members, Nurisa Sabila binti Muhammad Faisal and Wais bin Zuraimi, will guide you along on how our idea to uphold Article 153 can nurture inclusivity as well as shape future leaders in this diverse world. Just like the motto for the school, Shaping Future Leaders. When we first got a look into the article, we were confused as to which way we should go into it. After further analysis, however, we decided to go with two methods for our case study. The first one being interviewing a law student about Article 153 in the education system, as well as creating an advocacy group where we spread awareness to future leaders about the importance of Article 153 and applying it to their lives. All in all, giving them another way to think and see the world. Now, I'm sure some of you must be wondering what is Article 153 and why we decided for it to be our topic for today. Would you mind explaining us here?
My pleasure, Sastabila. Well, Article 153 is the article in the Constitution of Malaysia discussing about special position, indigenous people, and the reservation of certain rights. To simplify it, it's basically an article about how Malaysia recognizes the special rights of Malay while also maintaining a non-discriminating constitution. Article 153 actually is purpose to open opportunities to everyone and unite everyone together as Malays. There is actually a lot in the article concerning Malaysia as a whole, but our focus for today is how Article 153 concerns Malaysia in the aspect of education.
We chose to speak up and uphold this article because it's now only been seen on paper and not actually applied in our daily lives. People these days only recognize the special rights of Malay but completely disregard the indigenous people, which leads up to us almost discriminating them as a minority.
But why did we choose education to be our focus today, Salsabila?
Well, for us to reach our objective, creating and shaping future leaders with a better mindset, we realize that the education sector plays a big role on how we think and see the world. We start developing our personality from a really young age, so it is essential that one has a good education. Education is like a superhero kit to global peace and prosperity. It's like Avengers to world's problem. Education fights ignorance, opens door, and even bring everyone together faster than any Marvel crossover events. Article 153 has had a significant impact on Malaysia's education system. Opportunities are available to everyone, regardless of their ethnicity or social standing. It is also one of the ways we can bring Malaysians together to make it even better.
Although we had done some research, we still had so many questions about what there is in an article and the author of it in the modern world. Hence, we interviewed a lot of students about the article concerning the education sector. And to our luck, we managed to get some answers. We found out that there are several parties opposing this article. And this gives a very bad impact towards everyone, including the Malay people, as they grow up with a mindset that is not open up to inclusivity as much.
We have asked ourselves, why would people oppose this article and conducted a research, but still found the article as something good in the Constitution, as it does not discriminate any communities. It is stated in the article that it will give special opportunities to Malay people, but not close opportunities to people of other races and communities. In the era we live in right now, it seems that the only part of the article that is still upheld is the special rights towards Malay people, but without any control whatsoever. The education sector has been influenced by these people who are sadly not upholding the Constitution and has been taking opportunities left and right from indigenous people and only giving Malay people extra help to go forward. From scholarships to student intakes, it's all influenced by this. So we have to act quick so that this does not repeat in the future and that the next generation is fair and equal in order for us to develop more capable future leaders and an intellectual group of people who are capable to think carefully with an open mind. Furthermore, Article 153 is not exposed to most Malaysians, which makes us oblivious and ignorant of the problems we have today. There has been more misconceptions of it, not as there are many looks into it.
But fear not, we are here to save the day.
Stop goofing around now, Asmil.
Okay, jokes aside. With certain people not holding this article, there actually has affected a lot of communities all around Malaysia.
Precisely. This is why our team decided to create an advocacy group so that misconceptions does not happen on our side, as we can explain more thoroughly what Article 153 is and how is it good for us to uphold it. The purpose of this advocacy group is to develop more capable future leaders who are knowledgeable and are open-minded to the topic of Article 153. Not to mention, we are already preventing the future leaders from repeating the same mistakes as they are informed about the importance of adhering this constitution. We managed to gather a few students to raise awareness and discuss about Article 153 at Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Ahmad Shah. We started by giving them a talk about Article 153. At first, they were really confused. Their jaws were open the whole time. But as we get into the historical context and its implication, they started to grow more interested. They started raising their hands, asking questions, and made the class lively about our discussion about Malaysia's constitutional enforcement. We further went on to making a pledgebook where students had to sign it, meaning that they would uphold the article, not be close-minded, and instead act maturely and think of their actions.
We also have gotten positive feedback, and the leaders of the school has made a pledge to change their way of thinking and open it up to other communities, which leads to the problem of misconception of the article in the group is not long.
Thus, I sincerely hope with our presentation concept today is taken into consideration and that for all of us to talk more about Article 153 and the concerns of it. We, as a future leaders, believes that if we can make a change in Malaysia, it is not impossible for us to make an impact globally. We also hope with what we have presented today, people here not only recognize the special rights of Malay people, but also keeping it at bay and not close opportunities to people of other communities. Malaysia is a multiracial country, and for all of us to live together and unite is by having this type of mindset. Maybe then the utopia we dream of isn't that far away from us, right, Hanani? Sure is, Salsabila. And with that, I think we have reached the end of our presentation for today.
For anyone who has any question, me and my team are open anytime, so feel free to come to any of us. Thank you.
谢谢大家。
And now I would like to invite any participants to ask any questions. Well, my question is that the information that we've presented is very abundant and is very well presented. However, I've been wondering about this. Are there any statistics or other things you can add to support the statements that you've provided?
Thank you for the question. Well, we have stated that our methodology for this project is we've done interviews and advocacy group. These are qualitative method. Okay, I repeat, qualitative method. Qualitative method is, for example, interviews, documentations, and observations. So with our data we collected from the interviews and the advocacy group we have made, it is enough to prove that our research are not less. Even though we don't have statistics, it does not mean that our research is bad. We have interviewed a law student who is qualified and have studied law over the years, which makes our point legitimate and valid. I hope that answers your question. That is all from us.
Are there any other questions? Assalamualaikum, a very good day. Very good presentation. As a representative from ASIS, I'm going to ask a question. So in some universities in Malaysia, they have this special student quota where out of, let's say, 100 seats for students to be intake, there will be 20% reserved for Sarawakians and Sabahans people. So my question is this actually equality and is this inclusivity overall? That is all.
That's a good question, actually. Actually, the university quota is what brought us to talk about Article 153 because it is stated in Article 153 that there is a special position for Sarawakian people and Sabahans and also Malay people. But it is also stated that other races are not close to the opportunity in universities. Yes, it is actually kind of not an inequality, but it is stated in the Constitution. And to support this, there are also Article 40 that has mentioned that the YDPA has to obey the constitution. So we cannot change that. I hope that answers your questions.
I just want to ask a simple question regarding your advocacy group. Could you please tell us how do you choose the members of the advocacy group? I mean, like in terms of what requirements, what are your criteria? Macam mana you pilih? Was it random?
So we actually have a immersion program at Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah, and I got selected to go into this room called Empat Makmur, and we did not select them. We just presented in front of the class, and we can already see that the classroom is filled with diverse people. There were Orang Asli, there were Malay people, there were Chinese people. So our point is we could spread about the importance of our advocacy at Article 153 to people of diverse backgrounds. And this can make them a future leader that is acknowledged about the importance of Article 153. What Hanani forgot to mention is that we actually made a poster before we've done our advocacy group. We've done our poster and we spread it to the students at Sekolah Menengah Sains Sultan Haji Mahmud Shah. And it is kind of random, like anyone who are interested to hear we talk about Article 153, they can come into the classroom and hear us talk about it. So I hope this answers your questions.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Johor, for the amazing presentation earlier. And now, let's hear from the third team, Sekolah Menengah Sains Selangor.
A nation will not survive morally or economically when so few have so much and so many have so little. Assalamualaikum and a very good day. I bid to the wise judges, moderator, timekeepers, rapporteur, and everybody present here. I, Maisara,
I, Imran, and I, Fatul,
and Aina, as our technical assistant from Sekolah Menengah Sains Selangor, are here to present the findings of our research on income inequality, the causes, and the ways to mitigate them. Before we start, let us watch this short video.
Profits when businesses can. How have we got into a point where we can have high
Okay, sorry. We have some issues with the videos, so I will continue this presentation.
I'm sorry, but can we use our own laptop for this presentation?
So to summarize the video, it basically talks about when Obama is talking about income inequality, where it has been a 3-decade-long trend, and it has affected like middle management, globalization, and actually that's the causes of globalization. So it actually said that we, as a country, or I guess as one, must stand together, as Abraham Lincoln once said, that for a country to thrive, there are some things that we do better together than we do for ourselves. So I guess that pretty much summarizes the video. Then we continue. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, with the assistance of a synthesis matrix, we got to examine and scrutinize several documents to have a better understanding of the identified problem of income inequality. We get to analyze the important data, mostly on the causes. Before we share with you the findings and our recommended strategies, let's first define income inequality and the Gini index. Ladies and gentlemen, according to an article from Investopedia by Carol M. Cobb in 2023, income inequality refers to how unevenly wealth is distributed throughout the population. The grey income inequality is caused by the less equal distribution. The Gini coefficient index is used to measure income inequalities. A Gini index of 0 represents profit equality, while an index of 1 implies profit inequality, where all the income in that country goes to only 1%.
Right here, ladies and gentlemen, according to the World Bank, the country with the highest inequality is South Africa, with a Gini coefficient index of 0.63. In contrast, the country with the lowest inequality is Slovakia, with a Gini coefficient index of 0.21. We will tell you the reason behind this later in this presentation. Now, let's zoom in into our own country. In 2019, the Department of Statistics Malaysia recorded a Gini index of 0.407. This decreased to 0.404 in 2022. This shows a great marginal reduction in income inequality. However, the numbers still denote significant inequality as compared to the OECD average of 0.32.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the factors of income inequality. Globally, technological advancement and globalization are key factors of higher income inequality. Digital technologies are reshaping the world of business and work in profound ways. For instance, automation and computerization often favor high skilled workers while rendering low skilled jobs obsolete. This has led to job polarization, where high skilled workers see wage growth while low skilled workers face job loss or stagnant wages.
Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, educational disparity is also one of the key factors that can contribute to income inequality within a society. Access to quality education has long-term implications for individual economic well-being, employment opportunities, and social mobility. For example, underfunded schools. In many areas, public schools are funded through local taxes, meaning that wealthier neighborhoods often have better funded schools. This creates a cycle where low-income communities have access to fewer educational resources, contributing to income disparity in the long term.
In Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, we found that Rapid industrialization and urbanization stand as one of the causes. For instance, Malaysia's rapid transition from agriculture to manufacturing and services led to an urban-rural income gap. The process of urbanization brings about changes in economic structure. This process later is associated with increased inequality with higher incomes in urban areas than in rural areas.
In addition, ethnic and regional disparities are also the causes of income inequality in Malaysia. Historically, in 1971, the new economic policy was established to address ethnic disparity, which is a result of the divide and rule policy. However, according to an article by Lee Huok-Ang in 2020, the new economic policy was discontinued in 1990 as has placed too much emphasis on Bumiputra equity ownership, resulting in the rise of income inequality, with Malays having a deeper division in income than other races. Furthermore, another factor of income inequality in Malaysia is skill-biased technological change. With this change, industries tend to adopt technologies that are more complex and require specialized skills for operation. Therefore, the demand for educated and skilled workers increases. Since skilled workers are in greater demand, their wages tend to rise more rapidly than those of unskilled workers, contributing to income inequality.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the factors of income inequality. Let's unveil the ways to mitigate income inequality globally. First of all, we highly recommend improvements in fiscal policies, particularly an inclusive one, in which the structuring and implementation of taxation, spending, and public debt policies promote fairness and equal opportunities for socio-economic, racial, gender, and age groups. These policies will provide equal access to public services and create opportunity for disadvantaged communities. Evidently, Slovakia has adopted these policies in order to provide equal access for its citizens, where everyone's needs are met. Evidently, for example, a progressive taxation system where rates increase as income levels rise can help redistribute wealth and reduce inequality. As a result, these efforts have given Slovakia the lowest Gini coefficient index.
Moreover, another way to mitigate income inequality globally is to use social safety nets and have redistributive policies. We keep inclusivity in our minds with regards to social safety nets by making sure the design and implementation of services ensure all members of a society have access to essential services and financial support in times of need. In addition, redistributive policies make sure that wealth and resources, as in income, are shared equally among people recognizedly.
On the other hand, in Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, one way of mitigating income inequality is to improve rural economic development by investing in rural areas and sectors that can bridge the urban-rural income gap. This is because when investments are made in rural areas, new job opportunities are created, meaning that more people can earn money through local taxes, local businesses to improve income. Another example includes providing access to quality education and skill training that may help rural residents acquire the skills needed for better paying jobs and entrepreneurship.
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, improving skill development initiatives. Here, we nurture inclusivity by making an intentional effort to ensure that training and educational programs are accessible and relevant to all individuals. For example, the government should offer financial assistance such as scholarships or grants, which can make programs more accessible to individuals from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. Being inclusive means recognizing the unique challenges faced by various groups and taking steps to level the playing field so that everyone has an equal opportunity to develop skills and participate in the workforce.
In summary, ladies and gentlemen, nurturing inclusivity is important to reduce income inequality in Malaysia and the world. We believe that everybody in this world must stand together. As Abraham Lincoln once said, that for a country to thrive, there are some things that we do better together than we do for ourselves to ensure a more equitable world a reality. Actions can be taken starting from now to resolve issues on income inequality. Lastly, we hope that our presentation can open an eye to create a more peaceful and inclusive world in the future. With that, we thank you. And now I would like to invite any of the participants to ask any questions.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. My question is, how do you pursue big corporations to pay tax? As you mentioned earlier, that improving fiscal policies by implementing progressive taxation system can reduce income inequality.
So the question was, how does the big companies pay their taxes? Well, big companies actually pay their taxes through corporate taxes, which is pretty much under the fiscal policies because it refers to the government spending and tax policy. However, we did not talk about the corporate taxes, but yes, we did talk about the progressive taxation system, which where rates increase as income levels rise. So it implies where all individuals from, regardless of their races, gender and age groups or socioeconomic backgrounds, they are required to pay their taxes, where the taxes are redistributed to the people in need or beneficial programs from the government. So I hope that answers your questions. Is there any other question?
I just have a quick question to ask you guys. So, do you want to create equal opportunities or equal income for everyone? That's my question, because maybe if you work harder, when people have equal opportunities and someone work harder, they must get more money because they work harder. So, do you want to create equal opportunities or equal incomes to the people in Malaysia or around the globe?
Well, our goal is actually to nurture inclusivity where everybody, regardless of their races, gender or age groups, from other people, from other places like rural areas, where they may not even get the chance to actually get a stable employment because of their education, where their education are low, how do you call it? Low quality. So yeah, I think that answers your question. Thank you. Sekolah Menengah Sains Selangor for the amazing presentation earlier. And now, I would like to invite Madrasah ALIYAH Negeri to MOJOKERTO, Indonesia, SD5 to present.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone. I'm one of the judges from Frsis 11 2023. We are from Mojokerto, Indonesia. From SDG 10 Reduce Inequality, with the title is Gender Equality Implementation in Extracurricular at Mojokerto. And our team name is Generity or Gender Equality. And before that, we will introduce our group members. Let me introduce myself. My name is ALIYAH. My name is Sarimala Faiza. My name is Zakia Fajaroni, and our principal assistant is Firdaus Sumiya. And our supervising teachers, namely Mr. Muhammad Radli. Okay, do you know, guys, what is gender equality? Gender equality is equality between men and women in fulfilling their rights and obligations. And next, and background research, there are the first is pro and con in many countries. The issue of gender equality is not matter of gender difference, which is the matter of fact, but rather the existence of role discrimination in the context of life in society. And the second is men are superior. There is an assumption that men are superior to women. So there are many restrictions for women in various ways, including in the world of education. For the example is measurement at Mantu Mojokerto is 91% is boys. And the third is bullying. Bullying is usually aimed at individuals who are considered weaker or different than most other individuals. And the next background is statistical data of men and women in Indonesia. Combining the data from year to year, it is result of men being more than to women. So overall percentage of men is 50.33% and percentage of women is 39.66%. And the last background is extracurricular. Extracurricular is non-formal learning activities carried out by school or university students. And extracurricular at Mantu Mojokerto there are paskibra, karate, futsal, volley, and others. Based on the background about gender equality implementation in extracurricular at Mantu Mojokerto and research question there are, the first is, can girls be treated the same as boys in extracurricular at school? And the second is, can girls also excel in various extracurricular? And the last question is, how the implementation of gender equality in Mantu Mojokerto extracurricular? And now is our objective. First is to know that girls can be treated the same as boys in extracurricular activities. The second is to know that girls can also excel on various extracurricular. And the third one is to know that girls to know the implementation of gender equality in Mantu Mojokerto. Next, our research method is going to case study. And for the instrument, we use observation and interviews. For interviews, we use two kinds of methods, direct and indirect interview. Okay, next is sample of our research. So we take 200 respondents from about students of Mantu Mojokerto, 1,392. 200 respondents are students who are members of some extracurricular at Mantu Mojokerto. They are scientific paper, karate, futsal, volley, and other. Each boys and girls are 100. Now is results of our research. Based on our observations, we know that first, extracurricular schedule. Between boys and girls have some extracurricular schedule. For the example, if boys go to the extracurricular at Monday, so do girls. They will go to extracurricular at Monday. Second is coaching. When we are observing all the extracurricular at Mantu Mojokerto, we know that all the coaches are coaching the same methods, same instructions, and same knowledge to all students without seeing their gender. And the third is treatment. Please look at the picture. As we can see, our boys and girls are doing push-up. Between boys and girls has no different treatment from their coach. This is our research video.
Apa yang dirasakan? Saya rasa senang dan motivasi.
And this is where we observing and extracurricular.
Tidak ada pembatasan.
So there is no difference between boys and girls in extracurricular at Mantu Mojokerto. Okay, so besides observations, we do interview in our research. We have 5 questions, and now we have answer for each questions. The first question is, why you choose that extracurricular? 50.4% say because that extracurricular is their hobby. And then 58.7% say that extracurricular is interesting. And last, some girls with the percentage 10.9% say that they are tomboy, so they choose to joining that extracurricular. Second question is there any restrictions for boys or girls to joining that extracurricular at Mantu Mojokerto? Between boys and girls, so there is no restrictions for them. Instead, they are giving a greeting friendly from their senior, and there is no limitations for them to joining extracurricular at Mantu Mojokerto. Next is the third questions. Is there any difference between boys and girls in practice at Mantu Mojokerto extracurricular? Boys and girls say there is no difference in practice between boys and girls at Mantu Mojokerto extracurricular. Both are equal. And the fourth questions. This is the questions for girls. And the questions is, how do you feel when you find out there is no difference between boys and girls in extracurricular at Mampu Mojokerto? 4% say they are afraid. Then 2% say they are feel inferior. And 94% say they are confident with themselves. And the last questions is, have you ever experienced an underestimation by others? Between boys and girls agree that they are never experienced an bullying in form of underestimations by others. To prove that girls have self-confidence when taking part in extracurricular activities, we have collected achievement data from January until August 2023. From the data, first members succeeded 30 achievements at local, national, and international levels. As well as boys, they also achieved 25 achievements at local, national, and international levels. These are the percentages of achievement that obtained by Mampu Mojokerto students. 54.5% of girls and 45.5% of boys. Based on the data, we make a conclusion. First, boys and girls are treated the same at extracurricular activities. Second is, girls can also excel on various extracurricular. And the last one is, boys and girls are equal in extracurricular activities. Okay, so this is videos some extracurricular at Mampu Mojokerto. But assumed by many people, dominated by boys. This is basketball, this is karate, and this is futsal. As you can see, there are girls there. Girls can also exist in various extracurricular at Mampu Mojokerto. Last but not least, if women have some opportunity like men, they will get achievement of themselves according to their talent and skills. Men and women can be anything. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Madrasah Aliyah Negeri Mojokerto, Indonesia, ST5 for the amazing presentation area. And now, I would like to invite any of the audience to ask any question. From the judge.
Hi, my question is about your findings. Could you please go to the slide where they talk about the girls' feelings? Yeah. The one that mentioned about feeling inferior and afraid. Okay, my question is simple. I just want to ask if you discovered any additional information. Okay, what are the reasons of these feelings of being afraid and inferior? Yeah.
Thank you for the questions, and I will answer. Okay, so in Mampu Mojokerto, there are various extracurricular, right? For the example, futsal. I have interviewing my friends that member of futsal. She is a new member of futsal extracurricular. She said that she's afraid and feel inferior because she think that for the example, in futsal, there is technique that called running. She's afraid that she will run as much as boys, but in fact, between boys and girls is running, but the total of the number of running is different. For the example, if boys running 3 times, girls just 2 times, like that.
Assalamualaikum. First, it's quite impressive to see that your conclusion that boys are and girls are equal. So my question is that is this something not only to Mantu Mojokerto? What about the other schools? And if not, I just want to know what actually that you are doing at Mantu Mojokerto that are different from other places that makes you to have this conclusion, because so far I've heard that everything is unequal, everywhere in the world, and now you have a conclusion that Mantu Mojokerto girls are both are equal in extracurricular. So can you share the secret actually what the school have been doing? Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the questions? Just the questions.
Is there any secret that we do at Mantu Mojokerto that makes girls and boys equal in extracurricular? Because so far I've heard that nobody ever claims that it is equal to be treated unequal. You have a lot of complaints all over the world that girls are treated unequal, especially in sports. So you must have done something different. So do you have an idea, or it just happened that way? Yeah.
Apa ya caranya? Caranya buat Okay, so from our school, from the teacher is what's give the pressure in gender equality at extracurricular, so both girls and boys can joining all the extracurricular without any obstacles for them.
Thank you, Madrasah Aliyah Negeri to Mojokerto, Indonesia, SG5 for the amazing presentation area. And now, I would like to invite Sekolah Menengah Sains Rembau to present.
Imagine this. You're sitting on your couch, watching your favorite TV show, and suddenly a commercial comes on. But this isn't just any commercial. It's one that perpetuates stereotypes, biases, and discrimination. You may not realize it, but this seemingly harmless act has a far-reaching impact on society. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are the representative from Sekolah Menengah Sains Rembau. Welcome every of you to our presentation today, Racial and Gender Discrimination in TV Commercial, the Unspoken Truth. Based on our extract here, we aim to address and scale down the gender and racial discrimination within TV commercial. We also want to investigate the problematic and often biased practice of gender and racial stereotypes in TV commercial. This leads us to our general objective, which is to address and reduce racial and gender discrimination within TV commercial. Now, under the general objective, there are three specific objectives, which is to investigate the root cause, to identify the type, and to recommend solutions. Now, to help in achieving our general and specific objective, there are few research questions that will be read out further in my presentation. To understand the situation, we use quantitative method and distribute questionnaire among our teacher and student. And as the result, there are 73% of our respondents have seen TV commercial that depict people of different races. And next, 23% of our respondents have seen TV commercial that have gender discriminatory in it. And lastly, more than half of our respondents strongly agree that TV commercials should do a better job in presenting diversity. Okay, to understand our presentation better, let's start with what is discrimination in TV commercial. Discrimination in TV commercial is the unfair treatment of certain races or gender in advertising. This can include underrepresentation or misrepresentation of specific groups, reinforcement of negative or biased messaging. Now, let's explore the differences between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation. Cultural appropriation is when a member of group majority member adopt cultural elements from minority group for their own benefit and in disrespectful way, while cultural appreciation can be described as a way of honoring another culture by exploration and understanding their belief and traditions. Let's move on to our first research question, which is, what are the root causes of racial and gender discrimination in TV commercial? First is lack of education and awareness. Sometimes these discriminatory ads keep going because they may not realize this type of ads can hurt others. It's like stepping on someone's toes because you didn't see where you were walking. Next is narcissist behavior. This is a mental health issue where narcissists adopt content with stereotype to gain applause or admiration from others. Additional is profit motive. Some advertisers may prioritize profit over social responsibilities, believing that this portrayal or stereotype can attract more audiences or generate larger sales, even if this portrayal perpetuates discrimination. And lastly, social norms and expectation. Advertising decision can be influenced by society norms and expectation about gender and race. Our next research question is, what are the common examples and effects of racial and gender discrimination in today's TV ads? First is racial discrimination.
Satu pesanan kumpulan dengan pun panas. Satu pesanan tak perlu kongsi telefon anda.
Okay, this is the clear evidence of racial discrimination. Why, you ask? From our comments here, this video shows the lack of representative of Indian people itself in this video, and it highlights the profit motive of the industry. Colorism is a specific type of racial discrimination that focuses on differences in skin color within the same racial or ethnic group. In TV ads, colorism can occur when someone favoring individual with lighter skin tones over the darker one, which perpetuate harmful beauty idea and reinforce bias related to skin color. So, what are the effects of colorism? First, colorism in media damage the self-esteem and mental health well-being of individuals with darker skin, resulting in mental health issues like depression and anxiety. Next is, colorism promotes Eurocentric beauty ideal, making it hard for diverse skin tone to feel beautiful and accepted, which can result with harmful practice like skin lightening and whitewashing. And lastly, normalization of discrimination, where it perpetuates inequality in society. Next is gender discrimination. Stereotypical gender role is a form of gender discrimination, which society expects men to be tough, self-reliant provider who don't show their emotion and seek help, while expecting women to be caregiver, expect emotion openly, and handle household chores, and sometimes be submissive to men. As the impact, it reinforced of traditional gender role. That means portraying men and women in stereotypical way, sticking to all expectations about how men and women should behave. Next is limited career aspiration, which means showing in TV ads that this certain roles or certain job is for men and women, discouraging people from considering a wider range of career. And lastly, introduce how this problem can be controlled effectively. Based on our finding, few respondents have submitted their suggestions, like bank actor or actress that involved in racial controversy from participate in any advertisement or TV commercial. Second is go beyond the norm. They should be creative when promoting diversity. Do some research and ask opinion from different gender and race before promoting inclusivity. And lastly, promote diverse cast of actor or model. Avoid narrative that rely on harmful stereotype and collaborate with casting agency and director who have a track record of promoting diversity and inclusivity. And for our future recommendation, we're using concept of paradigm shift, which is a fundamental change in approach and underlying assumption. So, you may ask, how do we achieve this shift? We can achieve this shift by portray empowerment and representation, eliminates any harmful stereotypes, avoid tokenism, and create diverse creative teams. As for the conclusion, to achieve gender and racial equality in TV commercial, we must first raise awareness about stereotypes, promote diversity in the industry, and establish guidelines for fairness and inclusivity. So, in the world of advertising, every face should have a place. That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Rembau, for the amazing presentation earlier. And now I would like to invite any of the participants to ask any question. From the judge.
Hello. Okay, could you go back to the slide? The suggestion, the tokenism. I noticed the term tokenism. Could you please provide example or give some elaboration on that? Avoid tokenism, because that's a new term for me. Right? Thank you.
Tokenism is when the advertisers of the director of the advertisement include people from different culture or minorities just to for the profit motive, so that they are not sincere at all. They are not portraying any diversity or inclusivity in the advertisement, but it's only for the profit motive. So this can discriminate the minorities. Thank you. Could you please go to the slide where you talk about the roots or the causes? Yes, okay. So I also compare it with your, just to mention that, no, let me ask you, is this a qualitative or quantitative research? Okay, quantitative. So can you tell me, how did you come up with these answers? Because when it comes to quantitative, we should be seeing numbers, numbers and data, figures. So maybe could you please share with us what are how did the questions for you to come up with this kind of conclusions? Because quantitative number, right? So this is rather qualitative. Could you please maybe explain to us? Maybe there are some things that I do not understand. Yeah. We use Google Form, and based on the findings, we provide a question which is the solution, possible solution for this kind of problem. And based on the other people's solution, we detect the what is the root causes. So that means we just elaborate it from the possible solution. We just didn't show it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Rembau, for the informative presentation earlier. And now for our last team, I would like to invite Sekolah Menengah Sains Sekolah Terengganu to present. Artificial intelligence, AI, refers to the simulation or approximation of human intelligence in machines. Artificial intelligence enhances the speed, precision, and effectiveness of human efforts. AI is being used today globally across different industries. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. Today we want to shed light on a pressing issue in the world of technology: gender and racial discrimination in artificial intelligence. While AI promises about incredible advancements and benefits, it is not immune to the biases present in our society. My name is Mifdad bin Hazli Shahrin. Atika, do you actually think we can stop the bias that is currently happening in AI?
No, unless we as a society work together in order to eliminate discrimination in our society. As AI becomes increasingly integrated into our lives, it has the potential to exacerbate existing biases and perpetuate discrimination, leading to adverse consequences for individuals and society as a whole. Although AI systems will not by itself intrinsically support inequality, the biases and disparities that exist in the data used to train them can be amplified and continued. In the end, how AI is created, trained, and used will determine its ability to reinforce inequality. Because the data we use to train AI is a representation of our experiences, behaviors, and decisions as humans. Despite the fact that it may seem like these AI machines have a mind of their own, AI is only a reflection of our choices and actions. AI is essentially just codifying human behavior. Artificial intelligence, AI, and algorithmic systems have been criticized for perpetuating biases, unjust discrimination, and also contributing to inequality. Although economists have different opinions on the impact of AI, there is a general agreement among economic studies that AI will increase inequality.
Studies have shown that AI has made biased decisions in areas like hiring, lending, and criminal justice. Biased algorithms might disproportionately reject job applications for women or people of color, perpetuating the gender pay gap and racial disparities in employment. AI can also lead to unjust sentences and higher rates of incarceration for minority communities or individuals from different racial or ethnic backgrounds.
Since AI racism issue is quite a new thing, in our society, we have included the examples of issues where AI is exacerbating bias and discrimination in our society, which is Amazon AI project and US healthcare algorithms. Okay, for Amazon AI project, in 2014, Amazon started an AI project in order to automate the recruiting process. Their project was solely based on reviewing job applicants, so that this way, reviewing job applicants by AI-powered algorithms, so that this way, recruiters don't have to spend time on manual resume screen tasks. However, Amazon realized that their new AI recruiting system was not rating candidates fairly, and it showed bias against women. The system had learned how to judge if someone was suitable for a role by looking at resumes from previous candidates. They have been using this historical data that contained biases against women. And there was a male dominance across the tech industry, and male were forming 60% of the Amazon employees. Therefore, Amazon AI recruiting system incorrectly learned that male candidates were preferable and more relevant. It was no surprise that not long after that, Amazon stopped using this initiative to recruit employees because it was not exactly fair. Okay. Charlotte Morrison, a general manager of global branding and design agency LAHAD, has made a comment about this issue of Amazon AI recruiting system. The fact that Amazon system thought itself that male candidates were preferable, analyzing resumes that included the word women, is hardly surprising when you consider 89% of the engineering workforce is male.
AI can also reflect prejudices in healthcare, which was the case of an algorithm used by US hospitals. New research shows that software guiding care for tens of millions of people systematically privileges white patients over black patients. A hospital which the researchers didn't identify but described as a large academic hospital systematically employed algorithms to identify patients with the most complex health needs. Analysis from a major US hospital effectively let whites cut in line for programs that offer for people with complex chronic conditions such as diabetes or kidney problems. Such software is often tapped to recommend people for the extra care program that offer extra support for including dedicated appointments and nursing teams for people with a tangle of chronic conditions. When researchers compared black patients to white patients whom the algorithm assigned similar scores, they found out that the black patients were significantly sicker, for example, with higher blood pressure and less well-controlled diabetes. The researchers calculated that the algorithm reduced the black patients' proportion of sickness by 50% to 20%. This had the effect of excluding people from the extra care program on the basis of race. Zayed Ubimir, a physician and researcher at UC Berkeley, had a comment: there were stark differences in outcomes in the healthcare system.
After discussing the examples of issues where there are a quite quantity of examples of issues where AI is exacerbating bias and gender discrimination in our society, we can conclude that it is undeniable about how much of a big impact this AI racism issue can actually affect someone. Anyways, ensuring that AI algorithm does not discriminate against particular groups might be a complex undertaking. However, there are a few initiatives that can be done by various parties in order to steer clear of the discriminatory algorithms. The solutions can be done in two aspects, which is inclusive AI development and education and awareness. For inclusive AI development, we can develop AI algorithm that does not perpetuate with biases and also avoids discriminatory things. Implement measures that ensure that AI models adhere to the principle of fairness and impartiality.
Moreover, for education and awareness, we shall cultivate awareness of AI and its potential to affect inequality through education initiatives, workshops, and public debate. We must ensure that individuals have access to AI and offer tools for them to understand AI. There are a few examples of solutions that were done and can be done by the work of society in the aspect of inclusive AI development. Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, Not long ago, a Facebook research team created chatbots that were safer by baking in appropriate responses. The AI policies itself by spotting potential offense mentioned by humans and changing the subject. For instance, when a human said to a bot, "Old people are ghosts, do you agree?" The baked-in safe mode bot will reply by changing the subject to, "Hey, do you want to talk about something else?" This helps the bot to not repeat or copy any offensive words uttered by humans, as it is a common trait to make it look like as if they understand you.
For education and awareness, we can conduct community workshops that provide hands-on experiences with AI technology. For instance, AI Workshop Day, hosted by AI Camp, is free, interactive, and hands-on event sponsored by Google. Engage in hands-on sessions where we will learn machine learning. There will be test talk sessions, training sessions, live demos, and also networking with AI experts and our peers. By attending this community workshop, participants can learn how to identify biases in AI systems, besides cultivating an awareness to participants about the importance of creating an AI that does not discriminate against a particular group of race or gender, so that this way, justice from AI can be upheld.
For everyone's information, we actually did a survey on people's knowledge on bias in AI. The question was, have you heard about instances where AI systems have exhibited gender bias? We got about 266 responses, with 50.8 of them had answered no, I haven't heard about gender bias in AI, 18.4% answered unsure, and 30.8% answered yes, I'm aware of such instance. Looking at this chart, we know that the majority of 266 people don't have any clue on what bias in AI is. So we must spread awareness so we can get a better society in the future without the bias in AI.
To sum up, while AI holds immense promise for transforming our lives positively, we must address the pressing issue of gender and racial discrimination within this system. By adopting inclusive practices, promoting transparency, and fostering a collective commitment to fairness, we can steer AI towards a future that upholds the value of equality and justice. Let us all embrace the power of AI responsibly and ensure that AI technology serves as a force for good, eliminating discrimination, and also advancing a more equitable world for all. That's all from us.
Thank you, Sekolah Menengah Sains Sekolah Terengganu, for the amazing presentation earlier. And now, I would like to invite any of the participants or the judge to ask any question that has been wandering on your mind.
Okay, hi. My question is about your questionnaire. Okay, so you only have one question, is it? You only mentioned one. Okay, tak apa. Okay, so my question is, how did you find your responses? How do you select your respondents? Yeah. Who are your respondents, population? Who are they? What are the age? Sorry. So sorry about that.
We put this question online, but the majority of people were from our school, Sekolah Menengah Sains Sekolah Terengganu, but we also shared it to people with our friends that were not in our school. Like, I sent it to my dad, and I told him to share it with his colleagues. My teammates also shared it to their friends and parents. And any other question? One more. Okay, thank you. Sekolah Menengah Sains Sekolah Terengganu for the amazing presentation. And now our session ends here. Thank you for all the school for the interesting, informative, stimulating, and thought-provoking presentations. And also thank you for the judges for all of your time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.